Tonight, we're going to spend the hour looking back and forward in the case of the Menendez brothers. Erik and Lyle, convicted of murdering their parents more than 3 decades ago. Interest in this case has exploded recently with a 10-part series and a documentary, both on Netflix, along with a growing fan base supporting them on social media. Then last week, the LA DA announcing he's finally reviewing new evidence that surfaced more than a year ago. Evidence which seemingly supports the brothers' claims that they were sexually abused by their father. We'll take a look at the evidence, the trials, the testimony from both brothers, and even the new politics surrounding it all. First, Laura Ingle has a look back at the case.
The mansion, the money, the perfect family. The 1980s was a golden era in Beverly Hills. Exclusive, excessive, and elite. And Lyle and Erik Menendez were golden boys, living a life of privilege thanks to their multi-millionaire father, Jose, a wildly successful RCA Records exec, and his glamorous, devoted wife, Kitty. But something sinister was brewing behind that wrought iron gate and those perfectly trimmed hedges. A saga of abuse, rage, and dark family secrets still unraveling 35 years later. It was the night of August 20th, 1989, when Lyle, then 21 years old, called 911, sobbing to the dispatcher that someone had killed his parents. The eviscerated bodies of Jose and Kitty Menendez lie nearby, both ripped apart by shotgun blasts delivered at close range.
Beverly Hills emergency.
Yes, police.
What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem?
Someone killed my parents.
Pardon me?
Someone killed my parents.
What? Who? Are they still there?
Yes.
The people...
No.
Were they shot?
Hey, Matthew.
Were they shot?
Yes.
They were shot?
Yes.
Police arrived to a grisly scene. Blood and brain matter. Kitty had been shot trying to crawl away. The brothers are hysterical, crying, and not initially treated as suspects by authorities.
I told the detectives that I saw smoke, which would have been impossible if I didn't do it. It's pretty incredible. We were not arrested that night.
The brothers speaking out in the new Netflix documentary, The Menendez Brothers.
Everyone asks why we killed our parents. Maybe now people can understand the truth. My name is Erik Menendez. My name is Lyle Menendez. Calling you from Donovan Correctional Facility. Lyle was the only person that had ever protected me. What happened that night is very well known, but so much hasn't been told.
But the police were watching as the brothers began spending their murdered parents' money days after their killings on Rolex watches, a Porsche, designer clothing, high-end cars, an elite tennis coach, real estate, and even a restaurant. A $1 million shopping spree in the span of 6 months. Bizarre behavior, and for prosecutors, it was all building a motive.
What they wanted was their lifestyle. They wanted freedom, and they wanted to be free from the idea that their father would somehow disinherit them.
On March 8, 1990, police arrest Lyle outside the Menendez family home for the murders of Jose and Kitty. After authorities get a tip, the brothers had confessed in recorded sessions with their therapist.
I mean, I've had a choice at the time, but I regret it now. He was somebody that I loved. I hate myself for doing it.
3 days later, Erik turns himself in at LAX, returning from a tournament in Israel, where he'd gone pro with that new coach. In the following 2 years, prosecutors and defense attorneys are locked in a legal battle over whether the brothers' therapy sessions can be used at trial. In August of 1992, the California Supreme Court ruling 2 of the tapes are admissible. The first trial begins on July 20th, 1993. The brothers are tried together, but with separate juries for each. Both Lyle and Erik testifying in court. And from the stand, they paint a graphic and horrific story of sexual abuse perpetrated at times by both parents, beginning in childhood, and of a domineering father who ruled and abused through force, even death threats, leaving Lyle and Erik, in their words, trapped with no way out and in fear for their lives.
It started with, after sports practices, he would massage me, and we would have these talks, and he would show me, and he would fondle me, and he would ask me to do the same with him, and I would touch him, and we would undress.
Where would this take place?
In my bedroom.
And how often would this happen?
Like 2 or 3 times a week.
And for how long did this happen?
Not too long. It began to change.
When did it begin to change?
I'm not sure exactly at what time, but almost close to when I was 7.
And how did it change?
Just became more involved.
What do you mean more involved?
We would be in the bathroom, and he would put me on my knees, and he would guide me, all my movements, and I would have oral sex with him.
Did you want to do this? At some point, did you do some other things too?
Yes.
Mr. Menendez, you've heard the testimony of your brother that you and he killed your parents on August 20th, 1989. Did you not?
Yes, we did.
And what do you believe was the originating cause of you and your brother ultimately winding up shooting your parents?
Me telling.
You telling what?
Me telling Lyle that,
You telling Lyle what? Was it you telling Lyle about something that was happening?
my dad.
Okay.
My dad had been molesting me.
And did you want something from your brother? Is that why you told him?
I wanted it to stop.
Were you seeking help from your brother?
Yes.
The brother's cousin, Andy Cano, testifies that years before the murders, Erik told him of the abuse.
Did Erik begin a conversation with you?
Yes.
And do you recall how the conversation began?
Well, yes, I do.
Okay, would you tell us how it began?
He asked me if my dad ever gave me massages. Well, he told me his father was massaging his dick.
He used that word?
Yes, he did. At that point, we were both trying to figure out whether what was happening to him was normal. He wanted to know that if this happened to every kid with a father and son relationship.
Prosecutors suggest Cano is lying, It will be years before his testimony resurfaces in explosive fashion. The Menendez trial is the first time the abuse defense is used in a murder trial, and prosecutors aggressively push back.
And it's the people's position that the sexual abuse is here to make the parents look so bad that you don't care that they're dead.
But jurors are deadlocked, and on January 13, 1994, Erik's case ends in mistrial. Weeks later, so does Lyle's, with jurors unable to agree on whether to find either brother guilty of first or second-degree murder or lesser charges of manslaughter. As the crux of the disagreement, the jury split on just how bad the abuse was and whether any of it justified two young men killing their mother and father, brutally and seemingly without remorse.
You feel this is a victory for you?
No, I've already expressed my views on that point. A victory is when my client is free.
We are going to be trying the case a second time. Some cases take more than one opportunity, and I am pleased that at least we have that second opportunity. Had they come back with voluntary manslaughter, you would have seen an entirely different reaction from me because I would have been utterly disappointed.
Are you going to pursue the death penalty again?
I have every intention of going forward with the death penalty, yes.
One of the jurors speaking out exclusively to NewsNation this month about those deliberations, reflecting on the trial and describing to me what clearly remains a raw memory 3 decades on.
It was a classic battle of the sexes. The men did not believe that Jose had been abusing his sons. And the men never did back down and accept the fact that they may have been abused.
But prosecutors were defiant, vowing to retry the brothers. And on October 11, 1995, they got their chance. The retrial, a stark contrast to the dramatic scenes that played out to a national audience in the first. No more weeping defendants and shocking family gossip pouring from the witness stand. Hoping to avoid another media spectacle, the judge in this trial banning television cameras and vastly whittling down the ability of the defense to introduce key evidence of alleged abuse. And this second time around, the defense would call far fewer witnesses, with Erik Menendez, the sole brother, to take the stand. Prosecutors, too, taking a different tact, labeling the abuse defense as the abuse excuse and attacking the brothers' claims as outright lies.
Now, the defense may want to argue that by going into the family den and shooting at the parents, that this is only a second-degree murder because the defendant really hadn't premeditated and really hadn't thought it out. But I submit to you that the evidence in this case of premeditation is very strong. Do you think he could do it? Do you think an actor, a professional actor, in 3.5 years, with only one script to study and one purpose in his life, could get ready and act? Well, this defendant is more motivated than any Academy Award seeker because he's motivated by things outside of praise or money or promise. This defendant is fighting for his life. Now, if he was willing to lie and lie and lie to everybody in town, why, in God's name, should you listen to anything he has to say?
They had a joint style and a joint philosophy of child rearing. And that style and philosophy was that their children were not human beings to treasure and to love and to support and to appreciate for who they are, but they were objects to use for their own purposes. Their purposes of sexual pleasure, of sadistic pleasure, they loved to frighten them, together, to vent their frustration and anger on.
March 20th, 1996. It took jurors just 16 hours of deliberation to convict.
I remember when the verdict came down, it was first degree. And first degree meant spending the rest of my life in prison for the next 50, 60 years. It was so daunting that I was in shock.
Just before the brothers are sent to prison from county jail to begin serving life without parole, they sit down with Barbara Walters in an interview the brothers now call unusual.
I'm just a normal kid.
Oh, Eric, you're a normal kid who killed your parents.
I know.
And you still say you're a normal kid?
Well, I didn't have normal experiences, but I am. I did that, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about what happened and wish that I could take that moment back or change what happened.
The brothers would be separated for the next 22 years. But the case would remain in the public zeitgeist, re-emerging in periodic true crime documentaries and re-examinations over the years. But it was not until the end of 2020, in the wake of the Me Too movement and amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, that a full reckoning would erupt into view, propelled by a younger generation with a new understanding of sexual assault and abuse, new language to talk about it, and a willingness to reckon with perceived injustices from the past.
New evidence in the Menendez Brothers case.
Today we're going to be covering the case of the Menendez Brothers.
The Menendez Brothers.
The Menendez Brothers
What's your take on the Menendez Brothers?
For more than 3 decades, new evidence means that the Menendez Brothers murder case is being looked into again.
The Menendez Brothers.
Last night I watched the Menendez Brothers documentary on Netflix.
Menendez Brothers. The Menendez Brothers.
In the new Netflix Menendez Brothers documentary.
In a twist neither Hollywood or the rabid tabloid media of the 90s could have ever predicted, the Menendez Brothers would rocket into the social media age as TikTok stars with a fan following.
The world has changed, it's evolved. People have come to the realization that men can be victims as well.
Shame on the reporters who are older generations and just think that the Menendez Brothers case is just something sensational. No. Future generations or past generations and our older generations, you need to stop the dysfunction of what you are causing of a rape culture in our society.
I do not think that Erik and Lyle deserve to spend the rest of their life in prison at all. We also know a lot more now about what happens in the music industry and in the film industry and what people with money and power do. So now it's not so unfathomable that a man like this would do something to his sons. But back then they were ridiculed and called liars.
As social media momentum grows, new evidence suddenly emerges. On May 2nd of last year, explosive allegations from former Menudo boy band member Roy Rosello, claiming Jose Menendez drugged and raped him when he was just 14 years old and signed to RCA Records. Rosello speaking out in a documentary on Peacock.
I know what he did to me in his house. That's the man here that raped me. This guy, that's the pedophile.
How old were you there?
14 years old.
And on May 23, 2023, an attorney for the Menendez brothers filing a new petition asking a judge to vacate Erik and Lyle's convictions. Revealed in those court documents, a handwritten letter from Erik Menendez to his cousin Andy dated about 8 months before the murders, alluding to abuse by his father. It reads in part, "I've been trying to avoid Dad. It's still happening, Andy, but it's worse for me now. Every night I stay up thinking he might come in. I'm afraid. He's crazy. He's warned me 100 times about telling anyone, especially Lyle." Yet it's not until October 3rd of this year, with Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon locked in a tight re-election race, and as interest and public pressure on the case crests with not one but 2 Netflix series, that the DA announces a full review of Erik and Lyle's murder convictions, including potential resentencing.
None of this information has been confirmed. We are not, at this point, ready to say that we either believe or do not believe that information. But we're here to tell you that we have a moral and an ethical obligation to review what is being presented to us and make a determination based on a resentencing side, whether they deserve to be resentenced, even though they were clearly the murderers, because they have been in prison for 35 years and they have paid back their dues to society, or whether habeas is appropriate if there was evidence that was not presented to the court at that time, and had that evidence been presented, perhaps a jury would have come to a different conclusion.
The next major milestone in the case is a court hearing at the end of November, in which the DA is expected to announce whether he'll support the brothers' petition. It could lead to resentencing or a new trial, and potentially a new chapter in this decades-long family drama turned societal phenomena. As reports have it, TV execs are already circling for the brothers' first public appearances if and when they walk free.
When the Menendez brothers went on trial for first-degree murder in July of 1993, it was really one of the first big televised trials, with millions glued to their screens. Both brothers would opt to take the stand in their own defense. They would admit to fatally shooting their parents, shotguns, but would argue they acted out of self-defense, fearing for their lives after years of psychological, emotional, and sexual abuse. It was Lyle, the older brother, 25 years old at the time, who took the stand first and under direct examination admitted that, yes, he did kill his parents.
Did you love your mom and dad?
Yes.
And on August 20th, 1989, did you and your brother kill your mother and father?
Yes.
Did you kill them for money? Is that no?
No.
Did you kill them because you wanted to pay them back for the way they had treated you?
No.
Why did you kill your parents?
Because we were afraid.
Lyle would then take the jury through his childhood, which he testified was filled with abuse of all kinds.
My dad would be buying the things he felt he wanted for me, and the guy behind the counter was very friendly. They'd had the place forever, and he knew me every time I came in my soccer clothes. Basically, he sneaked me in a bag, some pastries and cookies and stuff. He just sort of put it in with everything else my dad was buying. I took it out when my dad wasn't looking.
Did your dad find them?
He found them on me outside the store.
Were you eating them?
I was eating them. Yes.
And what did your dad do?
He just grabbed them out of my hand, and he just grabbed me by the neck. He just punched me in the stomach.
And then he would detail the alleged sexual abuse, which he said began before he was 7 years old.
It just started with, after sports practices, he would massage me, and we would have these talks, and he would show me, and he would fondle me, and he would ask me to do the same with him, and I would touch him, and we would undress.
Where would this take place?
In my bedroom.
And how did it change?
Just became more involved.
What do you mean more involved?
We would be in the bathroom, and he would put me on my knees, and he would guide me, all my movements, and I would have oral sex with him.
Did you want to do this?
But Lyle would also be cross-examined. He'd be challenged on much of his account. Lyle would also say that after confronting his father about the sexual abuse of his brother Erik, not to mention his own incestuous relationship with his mother, they felt that their father would kill them. So they acted first.
Would it be your testimony, Mr. Menendez, that after you came into the room, through the doors here, on the left part of Exhibit 20, you started firing at your father, who was in the area right here where his body was later found, correct?
Right.
And then what did you do next?
I just kept firing.
When you put the gun up against the back of his head and you pulled the trigger, did you go around behind the sofa to do that?
Well, I didn't put it up against his head on purpose.
When you went in the area behind the sofa and you unintentionally put the gun against your father's head and pulled the trigger, where was your mother?
Objection states the testimony.
She was, my memory is not good on this, but I think I remember her. Seemed to be around the side of the coffee table.
What was she doing?
In my mind, she was just sort of sneaking around the side of the coffee table and going in that direction.
You said your mother was sneaking? Is that correct? You just used that term, sneaking. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you think that she was going to do something sneaky to you when she was crawling behind the coffee table?
No, I thought that we were in danger still.
And this is after you'd shot your father in the head, correct?
Right.
We continue now our hour-long special on the Menendez Brothers case. Before the break, we showed you highlights from Lyle Menendez's testimony from their 1993 trial. Now the testimony of then 22-year-old Erik Menendez, the younger of the two, who under direct examination would also describe the physical abuse he said he endured from his father, Jose.
Had he hit you before in your life?
Yes.
Had he done other physical things that hurt you when angry?
Yes.
What kind of thing? What was the thing he most typically did when he was angry?
Most typically, he slapped me.
And what about pushing your body into objects? Would he do that?
Yeah, he'd throw me a lot.
Throw you a lot?
Yes, he'd throw me into the wall or into the bed or into the desk or into the glass or any place.
He once threw you into a glass door, didn't he?
Yes.
Broke the door?
Shattered the glass.
And then threw you again?
Yeah.
And just as Lyle did, Erik would describe in graphic detail years of sexual abuse at the hands of his father, but also explained how his father would sadistically rationalize it to him.
He said it was something that was supposed to happen, and he often referred to ancient times in the Romans and the Greeks and how they used to have sex before battle and talk about how this was natural and this was supposed to happen.
Mr. Menendez, you've heard the testimony of your brother that you and he killed your parents on August 20th, 1989. Did you not?
Yes, we did.
And what do you believe was the originating cause of you and your brother ultimately winding up shooting your parents?
Me telling.
You telling what?
Me telling Lyle that,
You telling Lyle what? Was it you telling Lyle about something that was happening?
My dad.
Okay.
My dad had been molesting me.
And did you want something from your brother? Is that why you told him?
I wanted it to stop.
Were you seeking help from your brother?
Yes.
Erik would also testify that he told his father about a conversation with his brother, that he had told Lyle about the abuse.
He was saying that he had told me never to tell Lyle and that he had warned me not to do that, and now he said that Lyle was going to tell everyone and that it was my fault, and now Lyle was going to tell everyone and he was not going to let that happen.
He was not going to let what happen?
He said he wasn't going to let Lyle tell. Well, he didn't say he wasn't going to let Lyle anyone. He just said he wasn't going to let that happen. Lyle telling anyone.
Now, you say he said he told you in the past what?
Well, he had told me never, ever to tell anyone.
And did he ever tell you what the consequence would be of telling anyone?
He would kill me.
According to Erik Menendez, there was only one more person to turn to try to help save him from the abuse of his father, his mother, Kitty. And on one particular occasion that he escaped his father's clutches, he said he came face to face with his mother.
I
was crying.
And did she say anything to you? Did she make any comment to you?
Yeah, she said, "What's the matter with you?"
And what did you respond to her when she said that?
Yeah, I said, "No, nothing. You won't understand."
You said?
I said, "No, nothing. You won't understand."
And did she say anything to that?
Yeah, she said something like, "Oh, I understand. I understand a lot more than you think."
Well, what did you say when you heard? Well, first of all, what did you think when you heard that?
I couldn't. I thought that she was saying that she knew what was happening between Dad and I, but I couldn't. I thought I had it wrong, and so I said, "What do you mean? What do you mean you understand? What do you understand?" And I couldn't understand.
And what did she say?
Well, she said, "Oh, I know. I've always known. You think I'm stupid?"
So what did you say when she said she knew all along she wasn't stupid?
I didn't know what to say. I just said, "I hate you."
And according to Erik, that led to a boiling point days before the shooting.
What was the subject matter of the argument between your mother and your brother in the guest house Thursday night?
Her knowing about Dad and I.
Did she deny it?
No.
Did she acknowledge knowing?
Yes.
But even if the jury believed everything about the abuse by his father, the complicity of his mother, was it still self-defense to kill them? Now is Erik's turn to face cross-examination and describe his role in the shooting.
I went into the room, the gun went off, and there was fire, there was smoke, and it was so chaotic that I just didn't. I don't have a great memory of it.
Now you entered the room first, correct?
Yes.
Now you say the gun went off. Did you fire that gun?
No, I fired the gun.
Now you shot until your gun was no longer loaded, correct?
I shot everything I had.
And then what did you hear or see after you had finished firing all of your ammunition?
I heard a noise coming from what was my mom.
Would you describe for the jury what sound you heard? How would you characterize that sound?
Overall. I guess I would characterize it as a moaning simply because she was dying, and that's what freaked me out, and I just wanted to get away.
In this trial, the jury hung for both brothers, but they were ultimately convicted in a second trial.
What I want to make very clear, we have not conceded one way or the other. We're not saying that there was anything wrong with the original trial. We have been given evidence. We are not, at this point, ready to say that we either believe or do not believe that information.
But he's not saying a whole lot of anything. When Los Angeles County District Attorney George Gascon held a press conference last week on the Menendez case, many of us assumed his office would be announcing a resentencing. Instead, as you just saw, he only met with the media to say that he hadn't decided yet. A hearing is set for November 29th on the case. The new evidence he's referring to helped demonstrate that the brothers were likely molested by their dad. And there's an argument that that could be very relevant to the case, as we've shown already. But it was presented in a legal filing in May of last year, so well over a year ago. And the DA's announcement last week came in the wake of 2 Netflix shows about it, and a month before Election Day in a race he's currently losing badly. He was asked about it at a candidate debate on Tuesday.
When there was a recent Netflix documentary that came out, and we immediately started to get bombarded with media requests and calls because the case came back again to the surface, and the decision was made that rather than answer one media request at a time, that we would actually just come out and very clearly said where we are.
It sounds like you're saying because this Netflix documentary came out, we're taking a second look, but the actual documentary came out in May of 2023, and that's when the attorneys filed.
Yeah, that's not what I said. This case has been moving along the track with many other cases. When this Netflix documentary started to show recently, we started to get many media requests for information. Initially, we tried to answer them individually, I came to the conclusion that it was better to handle it all at once.
So he's saying he made the announcement because of the documentary and the other show, which doesn't answer the question of what they've been doing for the last year and a half. As I said last week, I think resentencing should be considered here. They've served 30-plus years. There's a fair argument that had this evidence been presented or the case taken place now, it changes how abuse and the abused are handled. The charges, the sentence would have likely been different. We invited D.A. Gascon to join us to explain. He declined. Joining us now is the challenger for the district attorney, former federal prosecutor Nate Hochman, running as an independent, also leading in the polls by quite a significant margin. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. Before I talk to you about the politics of this, let me just ask you, if you are elected, what would you plan on doing in connection with the Menendez case?
So what I would do in the Menendez case is what I would do in all cases. I would talk to all the relevant parties and get absolutely steeped in the facts. Right now, George Gascon hasn't even talked to the two prosecutors who've been assigned to this case since May of 2023, who I understand have gone through all the transcripts and all the records and have reached conclusions. They haven't shared those conclusions with me, obviously. I'm a private citizen at this point. But I would want to myself review those transcripts, speak to the experts, speak to defense counsel and defense experts before I would even get to the point of holding a press conference to announce what my decision would be. And the one thing I can guarantee you is I wouldn't have a press conference to announce that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, look, at the time, I said it was ridiculous. I've made it clear already that I think that this was ridiculous. But what more do you need to know? Meaning, we know the evidence pretty clearly at this point, and we also know what's new here, right? So asking for a resentencing, for example, or even for a new trial, which I think would be very unlikely, basically just requires believing the new evidence, this new letter, this comment by this former member of Menudo. It doesn't seem to me that it's as complicated as some cases where you have to go and retest DNA, et cetera. So why can't you, at this point, even be able to at least share where you're leaning?
So resentencing actually requires certain legal elements to be met. And part of those legal elements is not just evaluating the two new pieces in isolation. Those two new pieces of evidence, again, to the extent that they're new pieces of evidence, have to be evaluated in the connection with all the other evidence and all the applicable law. Since I don't have access to all that other evidence, and I have not done the legal determination of where the new evidence fits vis-a-vis the requirements under the law for resentencing, I'm not in a position to opine right now what position I would take. But it is very interesting that George Gascon holds a press conference on October 3rd, right before the election, the same day a front-page LA Times story came out that says teen killer case haunts Gascon because he had let a double murderer out after just 4 years, and she ended up killing again.
Well, that's actually a bigger picture, and I think actually more important, and I don't mean to minimize the importance of the Menendez case, but there are so many more people impacted by a lot of what Gascon has been doing on a regular basis with regard to, bail reform and some other issues. How would you be different in terms of what Gascon is seen as being a bit softer on crime? How would your administration be different?
So I reject extreme policies on both ends of the pendulum swing. The Gascon decarceration extreme policies that are pro-criminal, that says that certain crimes and certain criminals shouldn't be prosecuted, not because of the facts of the law, but because of his political agenda. But I also reject the extreme policies of mass incarceration. Where I come down is the middle, and I actually call it the hard middle because you got to do the hard work. The hard work of looking at each case individually, looking at the defendant's background, the crime committed, and the impact on the victim, to determine who the true threats are to our public safety, often the repeat offenders who need to be behind bars, and the ones that aren't. Your first-time nonviolent offender still has to pay a debt back to society if they violated society's laws, but that debt can be paid by community service.
All right, we shall see. Right now, the polls look pretty good for you. Nathan Hochman, next time you're on the show, you may be on the show as the DA of Los Angeles. We shall see. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it. There really are two questions here. There's a moral one and there's a legal one. On the moral question, it seems the Menendez brothers have a very strong argument that they ought to be out of prison and that they were abused and that that abuse wasn't taken seriously enough. But the legal question is a trickier one. Resentencing is hard. New trial is very unlikely. So as we evaluate what happens next, keep in mind that there are those two questions, and maybe they'll be answered the same way. Thanks for watching. Dan starts now. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen, and don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.